Listen, I have a fascination with unlicensed games, bootleg games, whatever name you want to give them. Their campiness and sometimes bizarre nature is what intrigues me the most. I mean, look at this. Mario 16. Look at Yoshi. Looks like I tried to draw Bowser from memory. Just the covers or labels alone are bizarre enough, and sometimes, as we'll be seeing today, the games themselves aren't as bizarre as the covers. Now, I loved the Pixar movies growing up. Toy Story to this day is my favorite movie of all time, maybe tied with the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Today we're going to be diving into the wonderful world of bootleg Pixar games. Now, I've already covered the Toy Story NES Pirate. If you want to look at that video, check the cards in the upper right. So after covering that and almost losing my mind, I thought I'd take on something even more daunting. Do I mean defeating the giant monkey man and saving the ninth dimension? Close. Even better. Taking on the entire rest of the bootleg Pixar game catalog in one video. And oh boy, do we have quite a few to go through. So put your feet up and relax, get yourself a little popcorn, a soda pop of your choice, maybe a little submarine sandwich if you're feeling it, maybe a whole fucking Thanksgiving dinner while you're at it. Get your stuff, whatever it is, gather around the campfire, and we're going to discuss. The Bugs Life video game came out in 1998 for PC, PS1, and Game Boy Color, with a Nintendo 64 version of the game coming out in 1999. The unlicensed Bugs Life video game came out in the year 2000, the Mega Drive version being published by Unite Lucky Technology and the Super Nintendo version published by DVS Electronic Company. It's presumed that the developer for these ports was one by the name of Gamtech, based out of Taichung City, Taiwan, but it's not confirmed that they were who did these unlicensed ports. Now that we know how these Bugs Life games came to be, let's look at them, starting with the Super Nintendo port. We're greeted with a still image of Ant Island and Flick flying past over and over, and then the title screen pops up. And one thing I want to note here is that if you look closely, the sky background is literally ripped from the Windows 95 startup screen.
The fog is coming for us all. It will consume you. It will consume me. There is no escape.
The actual game, however, same as the Mega Drive version, is just a port of the official Game Boy Color game. Both versions give me big plug-and-play game vibes, or maybe even shovelware. Just the look and feel of both games are very much something of that caliber. Bargain bin shite. Oh, what do you expect? We're in bootleg world, chuckle nuts, so buckle up. The physics for the two unlicensed ports differ greatly, however. The Super Nintendo version requires you to charge your sprint, while the Mega Drive version gives you a full sprint right out of the gate. Needing to charge your sprint in the Super Nintendo version has several drawbacks, namely going over gaps and platforming. The Mega Drive version doesn't have this issue, but in exchange it has a few more enemies peppered in throughout each course. Now, I need to address something big. Gigantic. Mastodonic even. In my original 2017 video, I could not make this one jump. I tried, but I couldn't. I grew old and gray and filled out my living will and still could not accomplish this jump. But on a live stream a couple of weeks ago when I was recording footage for this game...
Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this.
Oh yes, oh yes.
I decided to crack the code once and for all on this dreaded jump. So, I looked up a playthrough of this game. The findings were remarkable, to say the least.
Is this it? Son of a bitch! I need to stand up for a minute. Son of a bitch! How do you do it? How? This hurt me, man. This hurts. It's just a skill issue. A skill issue that has caused a 6-year stun lock. This hurts. Okay, shut up, Oblivion. Let's actually try to replicate this, okay? What did he do here? He sizes it up. Okay, so he stands right here, All right, we're gonna do a fucking like Pepe Sylvia sort of breakdown here. All right, he stands right here, count the pixels. Count the pixels. Okay, then he does like a turbo and then jump at the same time. So if I can replicate that, then we're golden. We can do it. Let's see. All right, let's put it to the test, folks. Let's put it to the test. You ready?
I soon found out that the method to this jump is to press the jump button first, then tap the direction you want to go in.
Wait, what?
This gives you a sort of pseudo boost that propels you upwards.
No!
So after 6 long years of thinking it was impossible, I did it. I made the jump! So we could finally put it all to bed and continue towards a brighter day. My problem all along was merely a skill issue. Go ahead, make fun of me in the comments. There's still a difficulty curve aside from just the shoddy jumping mechanics. It's very hard and I can't beat it without save states. My modus operandi is that I try to be as all natural as possible in these videos for an authentic experience, but my wit can only take so much before I start pulling my hair out, stuffing clumps of it in Ziplocs and mailing them to Taiwan myself. So, what do I think of this game in the long run? If you've played the Game Boy Color version, then you've played these bootlegs as well. Hell, you actually get more levels on the Game Boy Color. So, consider yourself spoiled if you have the Game Boy Color version, bucko. Just stick with the official version. But I guess that's what fascinates us with bootleg video games. We're aware that they're mid, but we're still into them. I guess we just like mid. I don't know. Next. Okay, we're moving into the 2000s. The dot-com bubble burst and, whoa, hey, look at that, Monsters, Inc. There were 2 tie-in games made for promoting the movie. One of the same name as the movie that it's just kind of there. It isn't long, it isn't hard, and just all around wasn't very well received. Then there was the more widely acclaimed Scream Team, or Scare Island if you're in Europe, which I loved as a kid. Never beat it, but I loved it. Likewise, there were 2 bootleg Monsters, Inc. video games made. The first one we're looking at was on the Famicom and is a very rudimentary hack of the Japanese version of Wacky Races. And there's some conflicting info on it if there was only a release on a 4-in-1 cartridge or if there is also a standalone card, as I found this on eBay. Starting up the game, we're treated to this nice logo. There's Shrek's ears. Look at them with satisfaction. Look at them now. Don't look away. Not even for a moment. There they are. There you are. Locking eyes with Shrek's ears on a Monsters, Inc. logo. Made you look. Now, Muttley is replaced by Sully, who has accentuated breasts that he'll flop around when he's idle.
I mean, Sully literally has breasts. There's literally breasts on my screen. What is he doing? What the fuck? What's he doing? He's jiggling his breasts.
And Mike replaces Dick Dastardly. More like Dastardly Dick. There isn't anything remarkable about this bootleg. It's just a simple texture hack, and that's what these Pixar games are moving forward in this series. Very simple retextures to make the game fit with the IP that they're biting from. Next up is the Mega Drive version of Monsters, Inc., which was released in, oddly enough, 2012 of all things, so it's a fairly new hack. It's a texture hack of Decap Attack done by a Russian developer by the name of Vic Tokai. The game was released as a standalone game and on some Mega Drive clone consoles in Russia. The game starts with a door that breaks and drifts into pieces at sea. Then we're given some exposition in Russian with a very disturbing Mike staring into our soul. 16-bit Mike Wazowski is not real.
He cannot hurt you.
The game's essentially Decap Attack with Mike Wazowski instead, flapping his arms like a lunatic and shooting rays out of his head. If you play Decap Attack, then you've played this. So, next. Finding Nemo on the Sega Mega Drive is definitely one of the games of all time. It's a hack of James Pond Underwater Agent that was done by GlorySun. The only thing different from the game it's ripping off is the dialogue changes the name from Pond to Nemo and, well, Nemo himself. Why does his sprite look so distressed? Sad even. Is this what being in bootleg world is like? Just wandering the depths of the cartridge you're trapped in for eternity? No wonder he's so visibly upset.
Liberating lobsters!
Up next, The Incredibles. The Sega Mega Drive version is a texture hack of The Tick from 1994. You can play up until Chapter 2 when the game just goes black.
Yep, screen goes black, you can't progress, you can do the little subplot, little bosses when you fall, but that's basically it. You can't make that jump.
It's still playing, you can hear the game going, but you can't see diddly squat. You want to know a decent bootleg game? The Incredibles on the Game Boy Color. I didn't get the chance to play this when I originally covered it in 2018 because I couldn't find a copy of the ROM, but I recently found it thanks to the people over on my Discord server. I played it on my stream soon after, and to be quite honest, it's a decent little game. I beat it in about 15 minutes, and I enjoyed it. The graphics are nice, how the game controls is decent, and there's even a boss at the end. There are 5 levels to go through, and you just beat up bad guys along the way and defeat the Omnidroid at the end. Not a bad game if you have about 20 minutes to kill it or curious. Our next stop before we get to the final bootleg is actually a bonus game. It's Toy Story 2 on a 64-in-1 cartridge for the Famicom, and it's just a simple texture hack of Bomberman, and then that's just... Before we get into our final bootleg game of the evening, I just want to announce that I've dropped a Patreon. Starting at just $1 a month, you guys can support this batshit crazy hobby of mine if you feel so inclined, and get your name shouted out at the end of each video. Link below to check out the different perks. Now, onto our final game. Here it is, folks. Our last stop. Cars 2 for the Sega Mega Drive, and it's just a Russian translation and basic texture hack of Championship Pro-Am. But I'll tell you something, people. Cars 2 kicks Championship Pro ass. We don't have concrete proof of who the developer is, but we do know it's published by one named Kudos. The story apparently says that Lightning McQueen and his team travel across the globe in the Race of Champions, and that we must help Mater win the grand prize. And this is it. It is like one of those times where you think you have to shit real bad, you will go to the toilet, and all that comes out is a wet fart. The only thing really changed is the cars have eyes on their windshields, and that's it. You just make a series of turns and hope you're number one. You know what just popped into my head? What if a bird takes a shit on their windshield? They're literally getting shit in their eyes. What the you make a series of turns and hope you're number one. Again, if you've played Championship Pro-Am, you've played Cars 2 for the Sega Mega Drive. And with that, we are done covering all the unlicensed Pixar games that are out there. The world of unauthorized games is very much a sort of Wild West, and because of that, I'll be continuing this series by looking at other games such as movie version Spider-Man 3, which is what I'll be covering next. If you guys know of any good unlicensed games you want me to cover, let me know in the comments below or on my Discord server, link below in the description. I also encourage you to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. I'll try to put out an episode of this series every couple months, so definitely hit the bell to stay notified when the next entry to the series comes. I also want to give a special shout out to the folks over at the Discord server who helped me recover and recoup these ROMs, because my first time around doing these videos back in 2017 and 18, I did not keep the ROMs. So special shout out to those guys, they're legends. And on that note, I wish you all a good day or good night, or whatever time you're watching this. I will see you next time with whatever I decide to do next. This is a variety show, folks. It's a variety show with different mini-series. Probably shooting myself in the foot in the algorithm for that, but you know what? Fuck it. We'll do it live.